All right, this is my attempt at long form content to show the worst things you can do when trying to sell your home. Title of the webinar that I'm working on is 7 Mistakes to Avoid When Selling Your Home, How to Sell for Top Dollar, something to that effect. And I'm just going to talk about mistakes I see sellers making all the time and how to avoid those if you are trying to sell your home on the market for the most amount of money possible. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is a mindset, which I hear sellers and agents alike about. I'm going to mute this. Um, how do I mute this video? I don't see a mute button. I see sellers and agents alike talking about how slow the market is, how bad the market is. And that's one of the number one things that I hear. Oh, the market's so slow. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. I have a real estate coach, Ricky Cruz. He has sold so many properties and he's not actively selling now, but he coaches agents across the country and talks about mindset. And so one of the things he talks about is no matter what a slow market looks like, there's still homes being sold on a daily basis. So he actually sent out an email this morning and he said, check your database or check your MLS, see how many houses sold yesterday, which yesterday was Monday, which not a lot of properties sell on Monday, but I went back Sunday. No, yesterday. It's midnight. So yesterday was Sunday because tonight's midnight. Crazy. So nothing's going to sell on a Sunday, but even some did. And then I looked and I'll show y'all. So this was in this radius. I said 0 to 1 days. There were 39 properties that changed to sold on a Sunday, 1 to 2 days. So that would have been Saturday, 18. So we still have, some, but when do most properties sell? Not on a Saturday or Sunday. They sell on 2 to 3 days ago. 3 days ago was a Friday. We had 542 closings. And so the mindset that he is trying to get across to all the agents that he coaches and the mindset that I've heard sellers all the time have, oh, it's just such a slow market. There are 542 closings. If you're an agent, go get you a closing. It's not that hard. You got to be doing work to get it. You can't just sit there twiddling your thumbs. But you don't need to sell. I mean, that's the thing. We're looking at year over year. And yeah, we have less listings than last year over year, and less inventory and da 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 da. Who cares? I can't physically sell 542 properties. I could sell a few of those each month and have a great career and provide for my family. And so that's my focus is where do all these sellers come from? Where are these buyers? Because those are who I want to work with. So 542 closings on Friday. I wanted to be part of that. I got a closing coming up in 2 weeks, next Friday. But anyway, closings happen every day. And so this market is so slow, da 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 da. Well, 542 other sellers wouldn't say so. They might not say that they got what they would have gotten back in 2022 when they sold at the peak. But if you look at trends, which maybe I'll talk about trends. My stupid phone keeps stop recording because I record so much and I can't re-download it from the drive. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. Might be slightly worked up, slightly tired, slightly stressed by technology because it is working against me. But going back to trends, I want to show something perspective. I want to show perspective. Let's just say that. Again, breaking that service, that mindset of the market's so slow. So many homeowners have this idea in mind of if I would have just sold at the peak in 2022, and they want those prices. But guess what? prices fluctuated and they go up and they go down just like any market. Currently, we're seeing this downward trend, which is pretty interesting to get them back to, man, MLS wide. You want to talk about a slow end of the season? That puts us right around the lowest point that they've been after the dip, even average a little bit lower than the lowest, at least what I'm seeing, 357 versus 360. So right in line with the big dip after the market correction in 2022. That's MLS wide. So you can see, if we look at rolling data for 12 months, it's down 2%. So these rolling data points make it look way more volatile than what it is. If you look at 6 month ups and downs, but if you look at it as rolling for 12 months, that's been, -2. We've had this dip, been down, but 2%. So all this doom and gloom of the market is coming to a screeching halt. If you were going to sell your house for $500,000 that you bought for $250,000, let's just say, and now instead of $500,000, you're only selling for $490,000, 2% lower, and you bought it for $250,000, you're still up $240,000 instead of $250,000. Let me know if my math is wrong on that. I'm sure it is. I'm tired. It's almost 12:30, and I am quite tired. But concept, you get it. You bought it for low. You want to sell it for high. You can't sell for as high as what you could have at the peak. But guess what? Only 2% less than what it was at the peak. That's still pretty darn good. If you were just to look at where this average was, if you sold in 2022 before it peaked, you would have been anywhere on up. 2021 would have been a good time because the market's going up. 2022 going up. You would have been happy to sell for 500. And then you can't get 500. Okay, now it goes down 2%. So instead of, darn, 375. Oh, I'm only selling for 365. Oh, heartbreak. But that gets so many sellers, for lack of a better term, panties in a wad, that they can't sell for what they could have sold at the peak. They don't know how to read the market. Anyway, that's my rant on market trends. I specialize in Collin County. Let's see, that 7%, that hurts. That's a little bit different. But I'll show you something. If we do custom price ranges, I can only do a few. I'll play with that later. Maybe I'll prep that. I will have to get you data so that you don't just take my word for it. But this average sales price or median sales price, average median. There we go. That's something to point out. Median is different than average. Average 4%. MLS, pretty even over rolling 12 months. Let's see, 6. Yeah, 7% over 6 months. We went through a rough 6 months. I'm glad I'm not the only one feeling that. Misery loves company, I guess. I sold, let's see, I'm trying to think. What did I sell 6 months ago? My sellers were seeing that 6 months ago on their offers, and they've been seeing that since. So anyway, all that to be said, trend lines are important. $2.8. It's not this doom and gloom. 7% does kind of suck, but it could be worse. if we looked at it, I wonder, I'm just kind of playing around with it right now. Yeah. So, man, that dip in Collin County, that really is surprising. A couple months back, Collin County was more flat than that, and Denton and Dallas were worse. Let me see. Dallas County actually had some appreciation. Look at that. That doesn't, it was the opposite. Several months ago when I ran this, Dallas was huge decline. And that's good that it's up. Maybe Dallas was ahead of the curve, bigger decline, and these trailed, and then it appreciated quicker. Maybe. I don't know. That's encouraging. All that to be said, let's go look at specifics. Let's go rolling monthly. So, one thing that I always point out to home sellers on the seasonality of things, when you're going into spring, typically January, February, March, April, May, things go up. And when people are done searching for new jobs or have school starting, that's typically July and August. And you can see July, August, September, October, a little bit downward. Of course, you get a little spike. That's kind of unusual. But then typically, and this is 2022, so let's go back. That's crazy that that's almost 5 years ago. We'll look at, I wonder if I can do, yeah, there we go. So January, February, March, going into springtime, it gets busy. And then look, you can see this, not as much of a dip, but November, December, January. I wish I could zoom in a little bit. Maybe we'll do 5. There we go. That's kind of what I'm trying to show. July, August, things start slowing down. December, guess what? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, they start going up. People go back to work. People go to school. And that was with interest rates hitting where they were and big downward. But then guess what? Springtime, new season, holidays are behind us. New listings coming on the market, new buyers. Let's go look. Oh, guess what? July, August, school starts. You guys get the pattern. It's cyclical. Down through January, February, March. Up 2024. It's doing the same thing. Springtime, it's up. End of summer, it comes down. January, February, March comes back up. July through November, December, January, it comes down. What do you think it's about to do? I think I know what it's about to do, and I hope my video is recording. It looks like it's still recording. Loom cuts out on me. Over 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, we see these big dips and big ups. So what do you think this is going to do? Especially with interest rates being the lowest they've been in the last 3.5 years. On Friday, they dipped to 5.9. We haven't seen rates in the fives in over, well, they did temporarily dip like back in January and then they went up, but we haven't, it was like 5.96 or 5.99, but we haven't seen a 5.9 in 3.5 years. Headlines from homes.com and all the realtor sites were lowest rates in 3.5 years. Tell your clients it's time to move. Guess what? Mortgage rates spiked. Well, Monday, mortgage rates did go back up. I'm sure that's due to politics and economy and blah, blah, blah. Who knows? No one can control that. No one can time the market. But the sentiment is rates have been at 7s, high 6s, low 7s, and they drop a whole percentage point. If they keep coming down and people can actually start affording houses again, you're going to have more buyers in the market. What happens when you have more buyers in the market? That's higher demand. If supply stays the same and demand increases, prices go up. Just like we've seen for months, the spring months, and let's see how far it goes. Get my head out of the way. Increase, dip. January, February, increase. July, August, dip. February, March, April, May, June, July, August dip. February, March, April, May. This is 2019. Dips in July and August. 2020. Look, that's a little bit flatter of a line, which is interesting. COVID time, not a lot of people moving until this is the new norm. Let's buy houses. And then dip in August, September, October. Same thing. And we did those. So good to see trends. I always like to talk about that with people. Sellers, you can't time the market, but you can stage your home strategically to get out in front of the most amount of buyers possible. I was actually talking with my friend John a couple weeks ago. They're trying to get out. They're trying to do a couple things. They're trying to buy before things peak again. They're also trying to sell when it does peak. So they're right at the cusp of, we're like, they weren't planning on looking for a couple of years, but he did some deep research and found this on his own, which kind of was like, why wasn't I the one that told him? I should have been the resource. I helped him buy his house. He went to ChatGPT, which great resource for sure, but I do this daily, and I should have been the one to tell him. But anyway, that's kind of one of the ideas that prompted this. But with that being said, he's like, hey, let's buy a house now when it is at the lowest it's been, and let's sell it when it goes back up. And I think that's smart. So he's in a position to do just that. If you can't get your house listed by May or June, July is when it starts slowing down. So try to get it sold in July, because August is, you can see, is when it starts coming down. And mind you, that's percent to 2%, but on a $500,000 house, 2% is 10K. So, I mean, that is significant. So if 5 or 10K makes a difference to your bottom line, then try to sell when things are peaking. So that's one thing that I want to talk about as far as trends. I talked about the market always has people buying and selling, no matter how bad the market is, according to the news. Of course, they want to speak doom and gloom to you. But let's go closed within the last 90 days. I might play a fun guess of Denton County closings, Collin County, Dallas. Within the last 90 days, how many houses do you think have sold? That's a lot of houses. Too many results, I would say. Too many results. Max is 5,000. It's a lot of houses. Just in Collin County, let's take it. 3,463 houses. Man, I'm sitting pretty. I'm providing a great life for my family if I'm selling 20 houses a year. 20? Let's do some math. 20 out of 3,463. 0.0057. That's my market share to have a great life. I don't need that much market share. I'm not a huge conglomerate. I'm not taking these huge $1 million losses when I have a decrease in production. I'm trying to average 20 houses, 24 houses a year. I haven't done that up until the goal is to do that this year. So anyway, that's my rant on, that's a lot of opportunities. That's a lot of buyers. It's a lot of sellers. Okay, so I kind of talked for 20 minutes about the market. Now let's talk about some mistakes that I see sellers make. So I'm going to pick on for sale by owners a little bit. One, because a lot of for sale by owners just rub me the wrong way. They're arrogant. I've been doing this a decade, and they think a lot of, not all, there's some nice people there. I like finding the good apples, but there's a lot of bad apples. For sale by owners, a lot of them don't want to work with real estate agents for, I don't want to say good reason. I'll say a lot of real estate agents haven't given for sale by owners reason to have a good sense of belief in the community. Let's just put it that way. Fortunately, everyone and their mother has a real estate license. I ran numbers, and I think the numbers have dwindled. It was at one point like 34,000 realtors in DFW. I saw recently that a lot have left, so there's only like 15,000. I'd have to verify that, but 15,000 real estate agents, that's quite a bit. And a lot of them, I hate to say it, are pretty trash. So I don't blame for sale by owners for not wanting to work with the trash realtors, but it gives the rest of us a bad name. And so maybe I just have been calling for sale by owners, and a lot of them are just flat out rude to me. I got cussed out today. Still a little salty. I might have deserved it. He hung up on me. I called him back and said, hey, give me a chance. And that's when he cussed me out. So lesson learned. If someone hangs up, just move on to the next one. But we'll go through for sale by owners and give them a little taste of what they are missing with the real estate expert. And maybe this will help. Maybe this will help a for sale by owner that can do it on their own and just needs a little guidance. And that's the thing. If someone's open to a little correction, a little teaching, a little training, go for it. So 254 days on market. Talk to this guy today. Nice guy, actually. So I'll just break this down. Big tree blocking the front of the doorway. One, there's a thing called feng shui. I don't necessarily believe in the term or the concept, but I get it, and buyers do believe in that, and that is blocking the feng shui of the house big time. Overall, that's not a bad picture of the house. If you took angled shots, which I'll show you on some of my listings, you can get some pretty good angles despite that big old tree. Personally, I put in some fresh mulch, cut down the tree, show off the house. The house itself isn't bad. I asked him, what's wrong with it? That's what every buyer wants to know. If it's sitting on the market for more than 60 days, you want to know what's wrong with it. And what do you think he said? Nothing's wrong with it. It's just a slow market, but it's going to sell. And it might. I'll say this. So pictures, these pictures aren't nearly as bad as half of them. We'll stick with pictures, and we'll come back to why this one hasn't sold, because that's not the market. You might guess what it might be as I go on. 254 days, 23 saves. Might be a few things. So we'll go to the next one. Come on now. You're asking almost $750,000. This is your view. Like, look at this. This is of a parking lot, like a street view, which you're trying to, no one's going to even click on this. Like, what is that? And then this is what you get. Like, no pictures of the house. This is pretty bad. I guess it's a duplex because it looks like you got 2 units. There's no pictures. He didn't even spend money on pictures. 2 weeks, 15 saves. I will say, you're not, I mean, this is Plano. I know for a fact you're not going to lease out a 3-bed, 3-bath, 1,700 square foot half duplex for more than $3,000. Even if you did, $3,000, $6,000 gross rent on a $740,000 house, you're not hitting the 1% rule. Like, what are you going to do? Lease it out for $35 and buy this for $700? So he doesn't have pictures. And he also has something going on that we'll talk about in a second. That's the last guy did. I called this person. They didn't answer. I will go through. Look at this. Okay, there's a thing called rule of thirds, and one in photography, and two horizontal lines. So look at this. You can see this is not a horizontal line. You want to have the house. It looks like the house is crooked. He probably took it from his phone, like your flowers. But you just zoom in on the window of the flowers. It's like that's not a good picture. Wide angle lens. Get a landscape or landscape shot if you want to show that. Again, just who wants to see a wall? I mean, they're trying to show these pictures, but there's better ways to do it, my friend. What is this? You don't see. Yeah, there. No living room picture. No kitchen picture. I mean, that's not a kitchen picture. That's a bar stool picture. Picture price. Oops, did I ruin it? What I was going to talk about? This one looks pretty nice. I actually called them, didn't get an answer. I know Junia Street. I have a friend that Airbnb's properties over in there. That's a cool shot. Could be better. Not as cool of a shot because you don't have downtown. You don't want to lead with that. Like, you want to lead with the wow factor. This is not a wow factor. This is junk. This is junk. Bad picture, bad picture, bad picture. These are just terrible pictures on a $800,000 house. Spend $300 for a professional photographer. This is the best picture I've seen so far, and I'm kind of harping on it. There's no flow. I'll show you what a flow looks like in a little bit. You go over a few more of these. On the ones that this one actually looks decent. Good for the, oh, it's coming soon. It's listed probably by a real estate agent. I thought I took off coming soon. There we go. Okay. For sale by owner. Talk to this guy. He's actually got nice pictures. Notice he has Zillow Premium or the Showcase 3D virtual tour floor plan. That's good. Nice shot. Could have had a better shot of this. See, here's the angle. Here's the angle. That's nice. That's a good angle. That's a good look. Oh, I don't want to do this. Anyway, there's some good shots. So, first homeowner that I've seen, he's at 725. 104 days on Zillow. Almost like pictures is part of it. But there might be some other aspects. There's going to be, okay, this lady was nice. She was really nice. I'm not going to do her dirty. Let's just say this. I know these guys, they're looking to sell their lakefront property. We'll give them a little shout out. They were super nice, and it's a cool house. Check this out. They would love for me to bring them a buyer's agent. They would love for me to be their buyer's agent and bring them a buyer. They could have done better pictures. I told them that. I actually walked through the whole house, sat down, gave them exactly what I'm doing right now. Hence why I'm starting to record stuff. So it's like, I can provide this to multiple people instead of just one-on-one. Cool house. Gave them some staging tips, gave them some photo tips, gave them some pricing tips. They were super appreciative. Took a screenshot of my messages to them to show how thankful they are. But they haven't sold. And I told them what they need to be at for it to sell. And they are making moves in the right direction. If you want to know what I think it should be priced at and what we should offer, if you want to be a buyer, give me a shout. They'd be happy to work a deal with us. They're good people. I'll find one or two more. Let me go to the ones that I favorited. So I called 20 for sale by owners today. I'm going to have to pick on this person. Sorry if I show your house, you're on this call. You got $1.2 million house. You're taking pictures on your iPhone 6. Come on. What is this? Angle. The angles are off. The staging is bad. This is a decent picture on a bad shot. Like, oh gosh. You see that? Brother. Oh, brother. 1.2. They want to use their phone for this. That's one. I'll do one more just to drive the point home. I think you guys get it. Did that one. She's nice. Good picture. This is the guy that cussed me out. Give him a call. Tell him I said hi. She's nice. I'm clicking on it. She's nice. The house is clean. There's nothing really wowing me about these pictures. This is what's wowing me. Lead with that. That's cool. If you have a house with a unique feature, something really, lead with that. That's a great shot. It could be better, but this makes up for this. I'll do one more. There's one that ended up selling. I'm gonna go back and find it because it'll really drive home the point. I think it sold. That's nice. And this is nice. I talked to both of these people. Point about pictures. This is just a nice little rendering. There's no other pictures. I called. She doesn't have pictures. So that's one thing. Let's go back. One more thing. I wonder if I can do showing off market. Let's do off market because I think Clarky buddy. Talked to this guy. He told me he had it under contract. I did a video about him. He sold it for like $70K less than what he had it listed for or something like that. I'm like, bro, you listed it for $790 and you sold $70K less than what you wanted to avoid paying a $21K agent fee. Like, the math ain't mathing on that. Where is this? Clark, stop. I'm gonna find this. Chop this up. Maybe I'm not gonna find it. Clark. Okay. Couldn't find it. Let's see some good pictures. This happens to be my listing. Oh, imagine that. So when you see, I'll show you. You got the front of the house. It's a nice view. I like to show what it looks like going in order as you tour the home, or try to highlight the actual order of the house. So this is the entry. It flows into the living room. So you can kind of see this continuation of the hallway here to the living room. This is a really cool selling feature. Dining room, kitchen. I didn't actually order these the way I would personally like. I did let the seller choose the order, and that's okay. Master bedroom, master bath, dining. Pictures are nice. Order is not what I would typically do. Let's go see if I can find some other ones. This guy, great guy, he was a for sale by owner. I gave him a call, explained everything to him. He hired me. He called me up the other day. We got closing in 2 weeks. He's super thankful for my services, and he was thanking me for it. He had pictures before we listed, and I gave him this explanation of what you need to do, and he took my advice and he got new pictures, which is good. Let's go. I'll show some other houses. Okay, so walking into the house, you got the front shot. This is a really nice front shot. Nope, I wanted to go. It's not gonna let me go through. Okay, homes.com is not gonna let me do what I want to do. Let me go to Zillow. Look at that beautiful woman on my shoulder. All right, let's see if it allows me to go through the listing. Public view. There we go. Unless the pictures got taken down. All these properties are just kind of interesting. I'll pull that up on my next video. I'll get actual photos. That would be good to show. I would like to show an example. I guess they don't show pictures of sold properties. Interesting. Here's a little house hack. If you want to bypass Zillow, selling leads to buyer's agents, put this right here. You'll actually get buyers texting you, and you can contact the lead yourself. If you're for sale by owner, that's a huge hack for you, because guess what? They click contact agent thinking that they're talking to the agent of the property when they're just going to skip you for sale. If you're a listing agent and you don't want to pay Zillow, it's a Zillow hack. I learned this from Chris Jones. Shout out to Guerrilla Marketing and Guerrilla Realty. I'll circle. I'm starting to freeze. I'll show some nice pictures right now. I mean, we've talked about a lot. I can probably condense this. Closed listings in 2 years. My personal production. I've done a lot of leases and a good amount of sales. I would like to do more sales. Clearly, 40 homes rented and sold within the last 2 years. I wonder if I can show my office closed listings. So I'm the broker, so I oversee a few agents on my team. We do a good amount we're lean and mean, I would say. You can see not a lot of people over the past several years were selling. A lot of people were leasing. That's what happens when you get 7% interest rates. I mean, that's 200 plus leases, 300 plus leases. Yeah, we did a lot of leases. But the last 2 years, we didn't really do that many sales. 301 to 347. Doesn't seem right. Oh, that's just my team, not mine. Is it? Birdie was me. How is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? I sold more than 11 houses in the last 2 years because I sold. I'll have to look into that. I mean, I know I sold whatever it is. Doesn't matter. But that's not right. The last 2 years? All right, I'm going to stop dwelling on that because it's just eating up video time. So we talked about listings, photos, or lack of photos. Next thing that we'll talk about that's super important. They go hand in hand. I'm going to exit out of some of these tabs. Boom, boom, boom. We'll talk about numbers. Pricing. Besides pictures, which is, imagine you're joining a dating profile and you put an ugly picture of yourself. No one's going to be interested in it. That's what bad pictures about the house do. No one's going to be interested in it. It's the first thing they see. It's an invitation. And if someone sees an ugly picture of a house, they're just going to move on to the next one. So first impressions matter. First impressions matter. This, I mean, look at this. This one stands out way more than these. That one stands out more than this. That one's pretty good. This doesn't get the roof. That one stands out, unique selling feature. This one they're trying to do unique selling feature, but so this looks nice. Nice front picture. That's nice. That's not showing, I mean, that's new construction. That kind of got the rooftop cut off in the thumbnail, but that looks nice. And look, you can see the flow of the house. Patio, driveway, front door, dining, hallway, living room, kitchen, living room. I wouldn't go there yet. I would show this. More kitchen. That's when I would go upstairs to this one. And then I would save this for last. Show bedrooms. I'd show master bedroom before this. Well, this is like dining. Show master bedroom. This big one before that. Master bath. Half bath I always put at the end because no one wants to look at a toilet. You could stage this a whole lot better. Just a lot of desk space. This looks nice. Overall, these guys did really good on the house. I would give them props on their pictures. I'll try to find one more, but you can see what stands out, what doesn't. This one, I don't want to poo-poo on this one. It's not what I'm looking for as a wow. Let's check it. Nicole Andrews and Associates. Let's check. Oh, they got a Zillow Showcase. Zillow Showcase kind of messes with the flow of things. You don't have as much control. Why am I in Granbury? That looks decent. Flower Mound. Let's check their flow of things. Another showcase. Notice how the showcases are getting kind of put up at the top. Something to think about. If you're trying to get exposure and views. Coming soon. I don't know if... Nice shot. I would save. I mean, this is a unique feature, so that makes sense why they're trying to lead with it. I do like those shots. Nice pictures. I wonder if the inside is not updated because they're showing a lot of outside pictures. It's a little too much if you ask me. Makes me a little concerned. None on the inside. Nice outside shots. But it's a coming soon, so that could be it. Showcase. Notice how showcase is really getting pushed. If you want a showcase, you'll get more views, that's for sure. I'm trying to find one more good picture. New construction's always renditions. This one, see, they lead with the pool. On pools, unique selling features, I lead with that. And then Loom is slowing me down on my screen. Front, entry / living. Let's see what they're doing. I'll find better examples and I'll have those prepped for my Friday call. So I can just show, hey, this is what good order pictures should look like if you're in control. So pictures, now let's talk about pricing. So first impressions, you're good on that front, right? Buyers search by 25 to 50K increments. So someone's looking at 700 and above. Sometimes people will say, don't show me anything below 400. Like, I know a $300,000 house is going to look like crap. It's not what I'm looking for. I want 400 and above. So if someone did 399, 999, that buyer that had a 400 search isn't going to see it. But I get why they're doing this here, because they're like, oh, well, what if someone wants to see it 600? No one sets up a search by 699, 999. You save that, and I don't know their history on this, but you start with 700, and then you can do a price drop to get the activity bumped back up. And I'll talk about pricing strategies here in a little bit. 685. Should have gone 675. Chances are, if someone can afford 700, they can afford 685. So they're not going to say like, oh, I need to see a house 685 and under. They're going to say, hey, let me see all the houses in Flower Mound for 700. Let's see how many days on market they're at. I wonder if Showcase, 45 days. After 30 days, after the first 2 weeks, your odds of getting list price go down drastically. After 14 days, then 30, you're pushing 60 days. It's possible. It's very unlikely that you get full asking price. I would have probably done 675 at the 30-day mark, depending on showings. We'll talk about prospecting lists and number of showings. 704, 990, new construction. So I get why they're doing that. New construction, 725. Good job. You're at a search that a buyer would search. They probably would say, 4 days. We're not going to talk about that. Well, let's see how many matches they have. 30 saves. Look at that. After 14 days, you know what he needs to drop to? Not 720. Maybe at 30 days. You don't drop to 720. You don't drop to 715. You don't drop to 710. You drop to 700. Price brackets, my friends. Same thing. Just do 725. If it sits for 14 days and you don't get any activity, then you could do 724, 999 and offer a $10,000 buyer concession, something like that. 712, 065, new construction. I don't know why they're doing that. Look at that, 700. Imagine that. If someone's looking in Prosper and there's like, I don't want to see anything less than 700, they can say 700 plus, and this will be seen. If they put 699 on listing, someone has a 700 plus search, wouldn't be seen. I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but just driving the point home. 550. There's a lot of showcases. It's almost like Zillow wants people to buy showcase listings. Makes sense when I'm scrolling why it's up at the top. It's a lot of showcases. 7 days on Zillow, 100K. I'm tired. An auction company. 499. Hazlitt, Allen, 910. He should have just done 900. If someone can afford a $900,000 house, they can afford 910. You're not going to get that extra 10K. It's just going to detract buyers. That's a cool pool. 255. Just do 250. 465. Pick one. 475 or 450. 559. Should have just done 550. You guys get the point. Buyer search in brackets. Private gated street. Ooh. Entry. More entry. Off the entry. Dining. Living. Kitchen. Nice. Good flow. Sometimes you go living kitchen. Sometimes you go kitchen living. It just depends which one is more of a selling factor. A lot going on in here. Staging is another thing we'll talk about. We've talked about pictures. We've talked about pricing. Let's go staging. I think I'm going to go back to picking on some for sale by owners. This might be a good example. We'll see. Looks pretty nice. I like this. So, countertops and floors, surface area. You want to have it clean and as much surface area showing as possible. So, this whole section, no surface area seen. This seating section, no surface area seen. This floor, no floor. I mean, these look like nice wood floors. Show them off. Hide this big, get this rug out of here. Get this plant out of here. Get this plant out of here. Same thing, rug. This is actually okay. I would probably remove the towels. See, that towel just sticks out. Show that this is what you want. Clean countertop surface area that's just pristine. You don't want this rug. You don't want that. You want these off. This is what I do with all my sellers. Clear that, clear that. This is fine. This needs to go. It's a nice house. Staging prep. This is fine. The seats, get rid of the basket. Keep the K. I like this. I would move the plant. This is simple. This is clean. Imagine a nice luxury hotel where you walk in and you can see yourself staying for a week or two. Maybe a nice little honeymoon, romantic getaway. You want to see yourself staying there. You don't want to envision anyone else having stayed there before. You want to see pictures on the walls, the kids. You want to say, hey, I can see myself living here. It's clean enough, cozy like a hotel or a luxury stay. This is nice. Nice, clean. Again, just move that pot. And for the picture, I would shut this door so you're looking at this wall and not this stuff behind. Again, I'm nitpicking. I'd probably move that and this soap and that and this. I'll do 2 or 3 more of these. You guys get the point. This is nice. This is clean. This is staged. Looks well. Come on now. Put a bedspread on. It's not that hard. Clear this. Have symmetry. 1 lamp, 1 lamp. 1 end table, 1 end table. This is fine. Come on. Bedspread. Maybe move the rug. A lot going on here. Get rid of these. Maybe have 1 thing here, centerpiece. Get rid of that. Rug. This, that. We already talked about this. All right, you guys get it. It's a lot. I get it. It's cozy. It's nice, but you want people to imagine themselves living there. I had to get rid of those. Get rid of the blankets. Keep the pillows. Get rid of the blankets. Keep 1 thing here. Carpet looks clean. All right, let's go do another house. That was a nice house. 715. I would have gone 700. Let's see. I'm beating the horse. Oh, there's no pictures on here. You want to sell your $750,000 house and you're not going to put any pictures. Why? 11 saves. Should have gone 850. Should have had pictures. Let's go. That's empty. That's not really going to get us anything. Am I going to tear into somebody? No pictures. Come on. If it's empty, I mean, this is a cool house. It's going to be a little old and outdated. The pictures. Do I want to go through this one? This is such a unique house. It's just like one of those old people houses. It's nice. It's about as good as you can get for what you got. I'm not gonna tear into this. Nice house. Could have staged it differently. Might be a little price too high. I want to see if that one just looks virtually staged. I'll try to find a few more. When I'm going through them, no pictures. That's not what you want. Angles are off. I don't even think I need to say anything about this one. I think you guys know how to stage this one. This guy's nice. Did we do that one? I'm fading. I'm getting tired. Loom is slowing my computer down. Not furnished. I'll pull some examples of good staging versus not good staging so that it's prepped for Friday. Talked about pictures, talked about pricing. How about we talk about phone skills? Maybe for starters, if an agent calls, maybe just try to treat them with respect. Get it? A lot of people are trying to list your property. But if you're going to just assume it's an agent I get it. I'm like the 20th person to call these people. If there's one, the case in point is if there's one buyer's agent that's actually calling for one of their buyers and you're going to lump him in with the rest of the listing agents that have already annoyed you for the day, you're going to be rude to him. It's not a good first impression. And if he's thinking you're a jerk to talk to on the phone, he's not going to say a lot of good things about you to his client. And that might actually be why a lot of agents don't want to talk to for sale by owners and would rather just show their clients houses on the market with sellers and listing agents that are willing to negotiate and have proper etiquette and understand the intricacies of selling real estate. There's social norms, and for sale by owners a lot of times don't like agents because they think we're overpaid. And some of us are. Some of us work very hard for our clients and earn every penny. So I would say phone skills, answering the phone. I called 20 plus for sale by owners today, and half of them didn't even answer and never got a call back from any of them. Half that did answer, well, are you an agent or you got a buyer? And it's like, why are you being so abrasive? The one guy that cussed me out was kind of my fault. So answering your phone, calling back. I showed you the Zillow hack. I thought that was kind of cool to get actual leads. I might have to do a part 2 because I'm tired. Let's wrap this up. I can talk a lot longer than I thought. Should probably make a note of what I want to talk about. Prepping. I do I do a pre-listing walkthrough where I give you a home selling score to show you exactly how your home compares to other homes on the market. So you know exactly where you stack up, and based off of where you stack up, that helps us price it. Pricing, pictures, prepping. Those are the big three. Phone etiquette, that's a fourth P. Promotion, we'll talk about that. How to get in front of the most amount of people. I talked about Zillow Showcase. A lot of for sale by owners listed on Zillow, and that's it. But guess what? If you're trying to sell your property for top dollar, don't you think that having the most amount of eyeballs on it as possible is a good idea? Maybe it helps to get your property listed on MLS. Maybe it helps to get it listed to other real estate websites. There's thousands of them, 30 plus that MLS syndicates to, not counting all the real estate company websites like Compass and EXP and Redfin and all that. And residential, detailed. I'm going to actually show y'all an old reverse prospecting list. Not to mention, again, promotion. Agents that are buyer's agents that you're always saying, are you a buyer? Do you have a buyer? Are you going to bring me a buyer? Well, wouldn't you want to get in front of them, those buyer's agents that you're so eager to talk to? Because if you list it on MLS, you get a list of buyer's agents' names and emails and phone numbers called the reverse prospecting list. Check this out. If an agent emails the property to a client, one of 16 houses that matches their criteria, you better believe I'm calling John Wendell. Hey, I got a great house. It's only one of 16. Your client needs to see this house. You better believe I'm calling him. I'm bribing this agent. I'm throwing concessions at the buyer. Houses that 358 matches, not so much. Not as big of a deal. But you got this. You can email blast them all. You can text blast them all. You can reverse prospect however you want. You can mail them. Email them, phone. You can't mail them because we don't have addresses. I think we used to have physical office addresses. You can do digital ads to retarget them so that they can see your property. Lots of things to target the buyer's agents to get them to your property instead of the other 290 houses that their buyer matched with. Pictures, pricing, presentation, prep, promotion, phone skills. I think reading the market is one thing. I'm fading so fast. I'm so tired. Knowing how many buyers you have in your buyer match is going to be a big indicator of market stats. You want to shoot, if you want to go under contract within the first 2 weeks without having to do a price reduction, to know you're priced on target to generate the most amount of buyers that are going to create multiple offer situations, you need to have at least 200 buyer matches. This listing, I got it sold, but we didn't have the 200 to generate multiple offers. We did a price drop in the 14 days. We actually got multiple offers with the price drop and actually got listing price on what we had originally listed at that none of these people wanted to buy it at. Crazy, right? So pricing is promotion. And I leveraged our reverse prospecting list and our market stats with knowing how to read how many views, how many showings. I'll just tell y'all right now, I don't know how many people are going to be watching this, but I'll give all of my secrets away. Within the first 14 days, you need to have 10 showings. If you don't, you're priced too high, plain and simple. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you don't have 10 showings within the first 14 days, you should probably do a price reduction at either the 14-day mark or the 30-day mark. Some people don't like doing that. They think I'm going to come across desperate. I will show you multiple examples of price reduction within that amount of time and not getting lowball offers versus the alternative of letting it sit 150, 200 days on market. Now, all of a sudden, you have an undesirable property no one wants to make offers on. The longer the house sits, the more people are worried what's wrong with it. The less views you get, the less time it's up at the top of the Zillow search, goes down to the bottom, less people are willing to pay for a less desirable property. That's when you get lowball offers. Price it right within the first 14 to 30 days. If anything, 60 days, don't let it go 60 days. If you don't have 10 showings within the first 14 days, price drop. If you get 10 showings and you don't have one offer, you got to do a price drop. So one of my mentors, he does he has a name for it. I'll come up with a name for it, but 14-10-1 listing strategy in conjunction with reading this prospecting list. Those who gauge the market and the timing. You're walking this tightrope. You don't want to adjust too early, but you don't want to sit too long. We got to find that nice balance. And a lot of times it's feel. I also use the analogy of shooting that bow and arrow target. We have our target in range. We know what we're aiming for. Sometimes market adjusts, things change. We have to not say, oh, we missed the target. We missed the bullseye with our list price, and just stay with it. We get another shot. Don't just sit there while you're just waiting for other homes to sell. Do something about it. Be proactive. Get feedback from buyer's agents. If your agent's not getting feedback from buyer's agents, you need to have a conversation. I had one listing. He was with another buyer agent, and or a seller's agent, and he never got feedback from the showings. And I said, before I took the listing, what's one thing I need to make sure to do that the other agent didn't do? And he said, I need feedback. And I was able to keep giving him feedback after feedback because I kept following up with those agents. Sometimes they don't give it to you the first or second time. Sometimes you got to pull teeth 3 or 4 times to get a piece of information. Oh, maybe we can change that. Hey, maybe we can touch this up. Maybe we can add this. Maybe we can adjust this. Those real times based off of other buyer's agents will help. Of course, having a listing agent with a lot of experience, a lot of, let's say, inside scoop from what buyers say, I can give you 99% of what you're going to hear in the home walkthrough, the home selling scorecard. It's also nice to hear from other people too, because sometimes you just want a second set of eyes, second set of opinions. But I try to give that to you before buyers see it, so you're not hearing the bad news on, that carpet is dingy, it needs to be replaced, or, I don't like the paint. Little things, they add up. And that's the other thing. A lot of people don't see how death by 1,000 paper cuts. You might say, oh, that's not a big deal. You've been living with it for 10 years. It's not a big deal to you. And then that's not a big deal. And then that's not a big deal. But they add up, and a buyer's, weighing, well, I don't have to do as much to this house. And I think I'd rather just choose simplicity or ease over having to do these, things, even though they're minor, they do add up. So I will help you get out in front of that, to not have to do that, to make sure you get offers on your property. I think that's a good stopping point. I would probably ask questions. This is 1 hour and 10. I can definitely condense